It's been a couple weeks since we've done this, but you know, we moved across state lines, and I mean, what else? We were living with your parents for almost 2 months. It was like a month and a half, and we were on the lookout for a rental, and this is the rental house we found. So what we're gonna do today is give you kind of a tour, mini house tour, if you will. Some places are cooler to look at than others.
But we do like this place that we have found. It's one of the better homes that we have been in.
It is.
Minus central air and...
Yeah. You get used to a certain type of living. We were in a very urban community when we were down there. Like, I know it didn't seem like it, you know, down in Remington, Virginia. You wouldn't think of that as urban, but it was so close to DC that you always had the metropolitan feel to it, and places were a little more upscale than they are here in, you know, small town Pennsylvania. But this is where we grew up. This is home, and we are gonna live here, and we have found a really nice place, actually. It's an older house. It's built in like 1905. I don't know if anything down in Culpeper was built in 1905. You know, so it's older. It's the oldest place we've lived in thus far. Back porch has the porch swing that goes with it. It's also where we park our cars. And so we actually use the back entrance more than we do the front. Gate installed so that, you know, Ollie can be out here and play. And then Serenity likes to ride her four-wheeler in the small little yard space. So now we're gonna go inside this kitchen. It is overall a smaller kitchen than the one I had in Remington. And I know you're like, oh, but it looks so spacious and big. It's really not, because this is all the counter that I have. So most of my work gets done right here. You have this wee little workspace to deal with. There is no dishwasher, which, you know, we thought it was going to be a big deal, but I mean, we keep up with dishes pretty well that it's not a big deal. We had a spare shelf that was originally in the dining room holding my books. It gets used now as storage. And so in here, I have my pantry. Here, it's not as big of a pantry as what I had in Remington, but that just means that we end up keeping less stuff than we had in Remington. And that's okay. We're not traveling nearly as far. You know, it was a 15, 20-minute drive to the store. We're not traveling as far now. Washer and dryer stuff, you know, these are probably brand new. But it is nice having my own washer and dryer, because I don't like sharing my washer and dryer. As me, I will never go back to a laundromat, and I don't think I'll ever be able to share. All right, but like, as you can see, we've got a bunch of like my spices there and some laundry stuff, and all our paper products are up here as well. These are all our paper stuff. I don't know what you would call it, like DIY cabinets or boxes. And we're gonna stack them here because there's 2 outlets here. So we're gonna stack them here and kind of build something and stick like a board on top to create a space where we can like put the coffee pot, and that'll give me more counter space. And hopefully that will take care of the remaining storage issues in this room. The only last thing, and really the worst part about this kitchen, is that the fridge and the stove, it's like an island all alone in a weirdly shaped corner. I don't know if you can see it this weirdly, but this little corner comes out like a, I don't know. This is, I think, was the main heating source when the house was originally built in like the 1900s, guys, like the early 1900s, like before 1910. So it's an old house. So some of the stuff in here just doesn't make sense how it's laid out, and it's been built up and added onto over the years. So this corner comes out, and the fridge is tucked in that side. You can't put the fridge anywhere else in here. It won't fit where the shelf is. It's too big. So it has to go here. And then this is the only spot left for the stove where the gas hookup is, because we have gas now instead of an electric stove. So there's a space here where we have just the light, but I've already dropped so much stuff. I like made a mess yesterday while cooking, and I had to like reach in here with my Swiffer and a rag, and I dropped it all down this little space here where we have the light sitting. So it's so weird because I'm used to, if you remember in our old videos, I had the stove was part of the counter space. It was built into the counter. And so I could just slide stuff right from the counter into my cooking area. Well, now I have to travel from over here where I've got the counter and the sink and everything, travel over here. And usually, you know, I have a baby on my hip while I'm doing this because babies, they cling to mamas, okay? Or I've got a kid at my ankles, and it's just navigating this island is going to be difficult. But we'll get there. We'll make it work. Okay. So we have a water closet, and it's an actual water closet. So for people who are over in Europe or who know what this is, you already have an idea. For those in America, we call this the convenient John. Okay? You can sit down on the toilet and wash your hands at the same time. It's so small that I can't stand in there and film at the same time. Like Phil and I cannot stand in there. You literally sit down, lean over and wash your hands at the same time, and that is all this is used for. That's it. It's so tiny. But it is a bathroom downstairs, and I am okay with that. Projector's all hooked up. Entertainment center's all hooked up. We bought a Roku, ladies and gentlemen. We bought a Roku. And I'm excited about this because our Chromecast like wasn't working. It would not work to save my life. I don't know what the issue was with our Google Chromecast, but when we moved up here and we got the internet to work and everything, it wasn't working. We had to bite the bullet and we bought a Roku. And I'm loving it because I actually have like a remote. Like, I don't have to worry about my phone dying or where is my phone, because you guys know I lose my phone all the time. I have a remote now for my Roku, and it's great. And we don't have the screen up because it's a white wall.
The fact that I have won her over with some technology is great, because the first time I mentioned it, she wasn't so sure about it. And then I went ahead and spent the $40 on the Roku and got it home, and she started playing around with it and seeing the apps that were on it and stuff. And
I can watch my Korean dramas through the Roku app without worrying about having to cast it. And I'm so happy about this. I'm actually really happy about this. So far, it's really cool. We're going to end up doing, we don't have Netflix or Hulu. We end up using Disney, Prime Video, YouTube. And then for my dramas, I use Viki. So, you know, those are probably going to be the 4 items that we use more or less on this Roku. But I'm happy with it. I was hesitant at first because I really didn't. I don't like going down the TV route. I don't like having anything related to cable or with commercials or with junk on it. You know, I like being able to pick and choose what my kids and I watch. So this is probably going to work out really well for us.
We're going to move on here a little bit and maybe shut down some fans. We're using this fan right here. We are utilizing air conditioners.
Yeah, we
in
have
the
window
house.
units. We have window units now. This is a first for us because
Well, no.
I mean, it's not a first. When we first got married and I was still at IUP finishing my undergrad for like 2 years, we were at a little tiny 750 square foot apartment in Indiana, Pennsylvania. And we used an in-window unit like this one, and then we had like a portable big unit in the bedroom, but that was all we needed. And then we moved to Florida, where central air is an absolute necessity. And Virginia, central air is an absolute necessity. Like, you can't rent a place anywhere south of the Mason-Dixon line and not have central air installed. So this was a game changer. This was new for us. Like, Everywhere around here uses window units. Only if the house is like a new build, like within the last 10 to 20 years. And that's not a lot of houses around here, folks. Okay. This is redneck Pennsylvania here. Okay. Everything's old. Unless it's a new build, like in the last 10 to 20 years, you're going to have to use window units because central air is not installed. It's not going to be installed with it. So, we have this window unit down here. It's the biggest one. We keep it in the dining room. And then we use the oscillating industrial fan to help kind of push the air around the house. This window unit also has a direct shot that way to the kitchen. So I don't fry when I'm cooking because it can heat up really fast in here. The one thing that this house didn't come with is it didn't come with ceiling fans. Now, the landlord has given her okay for us to take out the very old chandelier here and put a ceiling fan in. But you'll see later on in the tour, we only have 2 ceiling fans in the entire house, and they are located in the attic.
Lots and lots of baby gates.
We have so many baby gates. This is just one, and this was by far the hardest baby gate to install because on the stairs here, there's nowhere to really put like a pressure mounted gate. Okay, this tapers up so that it's narrower at the top compared to the bottom. So you can't put a pressure gate from here to the opposing wall. And you can't put a pressure gate from here to this opposing wall for the same reason. There's also not a lot of space on the bottom here. So we originally had a gate on this first step. We were just tripping over it. We were tripping over our own 2 feet. We were stepping on the gate, which hurt like crap. This gate that kind of extends was the best option for us. What do you notice directly behind me? Oh, look, there's 2 more steps. And what do you notice directly to my right now? Or the left as you're coming up the stairs? Where it is here, Serenity?
2 more steps.
Exactly, more steps. So what do we have? We have 2 more baby gates. Steps everywhere. And we're not done with steps yet, folks. Coming up the stairs down this long, narrow hallway of nothing is
The big bathroom.
the big bathroom. And it's a nice bathroom. But there is no way to get some air circulation in this bathroom. There's no way to circulate air in this bathroom. Is it nice? Yes. Does it have enough storage? Yes. And hooks and everything else. But there's no way to get airflow to this bathroom. It is down the long hall to the middle of nowhere. We're actually directly over where the laundry room would be that I showed you earlier. This is probably the newest addition on this house. Okay? They took, and this was probably part of like a master bath or something like that. And what they did is they just made it entirely separate from the rest of the house, closed off the bedroom that's on the other side of this wall, which is Ollie's room, made it a separate bathroom, but there's no way to get airflow down here. There's no outlets in the hallway. The only way to get anything to work in this room, the vent, the light, the outlet, is to flip the switch that's out here.
But this small sink over here, I must have overlooked it or whatever, but that is
Counter space.
we've been used to counter space for our sinks.
Yeah, I don't know if you remember the vanity that we had in our bathroom in Remington upstairs, but it was a lot bigger than this. So we've hung a lovely 31 bag here, making use of all the bags that we have. And we've just kind of used that as our storage. And it works. I'm not complaining. But we've got plenty of storage in the bathtub. I'm loving all of the shelves because all of the kids' toys take up 2 shelves in here. Okay? All of the kids' toys can fit up there. And it's totally okay.
Coming up the stairs to the left is the 4 bedrooms. One of them we have made my office / storing some books and storing some towels and stuff. That's one of the biggest things with this house, is that we don't have as much storage space within the main levels here. So we have had to utilize this room. We didn't have a lot of room for all 3 dresser pieces. We didn't really need all 3 dresser pieces, so This dresser over here is used for some storage of some blankets and some of my studio stuff that I need. And then as we come in to this room right here, I have my office space over here. And what I did here is I went with a mobile desk. So we spent a little extra money on this desk here, and I have different options here on my desk, and you can adjust that desk to pretty much any level you want, from very high standing up to very low sitting down. So there's lots of options with this desk here.
Let's go to Ollie's room, which I think was originally like the master room with a bath. I don't know though. Like that was his dad's thinking, that they took the bathroom and closed it off from the other room. But this would have been an awful small master. But I mean, in case you haven't noticed, all the rooms in this house are very small. Okay, that's common with old houses, is you got a lot of rooms, but there are a lot of tiny rooms. So anyway, we got Ollie's room set up, and it's very basic. You know, it's all he needs is his changing table, his dresser, and his crib. We have the corner shelf over there for some storage for his toys and things like that. The closets in Remington had a lot more storage space, like they were legit walk-in closets, but this works for now. This ends up being kind of like the catch-all pile for things that the kids grow out of or that they don't use, or for blankets and stuff, because he doesn't need this space yet. Okay, now Serenity's room that we're going to go to next, she uses her closet space. You want to go to your room and let's show everybody your room? Again, all rooms, very tiny. Doesn't matter what way you slice it.
Real quick, shout out to Aunt Steph, because as you see this bedding set that's in here, that was hers as a kid. She wasn't going to do anything with it, and told us that we could have it. So as we moved out of my parents' house where we were for a month, we brought that along with us to be able to utilize the bedding and the dressers and everything to make up Serenity's room here. She started sleeping in this bed when she came up to Nana and Papa's, and there's no like bed railing or anything to keep her from falling out or anything. But when she was very successful at utilizing this bed at Nana and Papa's, we felt confident enough to bring it along with us and get her out of her. One time you fell off. But she loves this bed, and she was excited to be able to bring it with her. You'll see just in a few minutes where we put our old bed.
But, you know, it also gave Serenity 2 new dressers. Like this dresser had the bookshelf that goes with it, which is cool. I can set a couple of memorabilia stuff and blankets up here that she's not going to be able to reach yet, but she'll get there. All the books, she can reach the books yet. Yeah, you can't reach that yet, but you'll get there. So having these 2 dressers with the drawers in them allowed us to get the white dresser for Ollie's room, because that was originally Serenity's dresser, and then we were putting Ollie's clothes in little 31 bins. So, are you happy to have your own dresser? Oh, yes, you are, because you're a big boy. Yeah, big boys need their own dressers. So, Serenity's closet, it's the same size as Ollie's. It's just So Serenity's closet is in use. It's the same size as all the other closets, but we use hers. You got a bunch of clothes and stuff that she needs to grow into yet down here. And then all of her coats and dresses and stuff can hang up there. So it is really quite nice. She's getting to the point now where she's going to kind of use this more. Her clothes are bigger. You know, she's going to preschool next year. Oh my gosh, it's killing me. So yeah, she actually uses this. There's a storage space up here, but I don't know what I'm going to use that for yet, because I can't even reach up there. That might be a good spot where we put, like, I don't know, stuff that we want hidden. It's nothing to look at. You have the bed in the middle and the window unit. We only use the 2 dressers, like Phil said earlier. So that's his dresser. The long dresser over here is mine. And we've just kind of done the best with what we had. Our room in Remington was bigger, okay? I'm sure most people are going to point that out. You had more space in your other house, in your rooms, and I'm like, yes. But overall, this house has more square footage. But keep in mind, it's an old house, okay? Lots of tiny rooms in old houses. So we're using the window unit in here, and we have a fan at the door, just same setup as Ollie's to blow the cool air into Serenity's room. It does a nice job, keeps it pretty cool at night. And yeah, that's all there is to this room. So the last place that we're going to show you is the attic. And actually, you've already seen the door for it. It is in Phil's office.
And this is what they call a bonus room, or at least the landlord calls it a bonus room. It's pretty much finished, but it's a rough finish, which you'll see that. It's a place that when it's a cooler day, the kids can go up here and play. It's also a place for us to store our Christmas decorations and other unneeded items throughout the year that we only use like once a month. So
Yeah.
Christmas being the big example of it. You know we love Christmas and have lots of Christmas decorations.
It is a 3rd floor attic, so it's like a 3rd floor bonus room. But it's in here. We keep it closed because it is so unfinished that it can get a little drafty and the air conditioners work harder. But what do we have? 3rd floor means more stairs. Oh my goodness. So we have the baby gate down here. You want to come up, Ollie? But Serenity likes playing up here. So we keep a lot of her toys up here, and you'll see that it's two-sided. So one side will have her toys, and the other side we'll use for storage. So let's go up the stairs. There's no window unit up here, but we do keep these windows open on the side. And kind of like right now, the box fan, this is the system that I grew up with, never having an AC or a window unit ever in my life. It was an old house too. So we would take the box fans like this setup here, and we would invert them. We would face them outwards during the day to kind of suck the heat out. And then at night, after the sun went down and it cooled off, we would turn them right side around and suck all of the cold air into the house. So that's kind of the process that we're doing here. Look, it's a ceiling fan. It's a ceiling fan. They're up here in the attic. It's finished enough. You can sit up here rather comfortably. This is where we have Serenity's toddler bed. This is where we have her kitchen set. Phil has a Google and a speaker hooked up.
Like right now, it's not too bad up here, but later on today, as the humidity and heat picks up, it will get warm up here. But it is a great place. You bring Ollie up here. He loves to play. One of the things that we want to do up here is we do want to get an area rug down on the floor here. It is
full of holes. Like this is a good one, good example. Like, I don't know, there was probably stuff here at one point in time, but you've got these holes that lead into the actual like framework of the house that toys and stuff can get drop down into. An area rug will help cover that up. There's a hookup over here. I think it's like a radiator hookup. And we're just going to get a cap for that so they don't knock their heads off. It has since been disconnected, so there's no gas coming up here at all. So you don't have to worry about that. But I think at one point in time, this space was used as like an additional living area. You would have the radiator set up here. There's a storage cabinet here. There are places where you can open up the door. The landlord has locked it and nailed a 2x4 in front so we can't get in. We know what they are because we grew up in old houses like it. But there's spaces like over here where you can crawl into like the eaves of the house.
So this back part of the attic is our catch-all area for Christmas stuff, kids' clothing, and just other stuff that doesn't have a purpose or a place to go at the time. So that we keep this for the storage, and then we keep this area over here for the kids to play and everything.
Okay, so we're pretty much wrapped up with the house tour at this point. We're back in the kitchen. Like I said, it's an old house. This door leads down to the basement. We don't really go down there. It's just like dirt and wood. And you can see where every time they made a new addition onto this house, they added an extra room down there and then put a door on it and said, here, extra room, extra basement. I'm like, okay. But you can see where the coal was stored down there. There was little coal mining showers. There was places for canning. There was the old furnace unit that was coal, powered by coal. And all of this stuff that indicates this house is probably from, I'm guessing like 1900, 1905. I'm guessing that's when this house was built. So we don't really go down there unless we're gonna like store some canned items down there, or unless we have to flip the breaker for some odd reason. There's like 3 different sets of breakers down there. There's the main panel that everyone is familiar with. There's an older panel from like the 50s that looks like one of those nuclear auxiliary panels where you have to actually push the lever up. It only powers a few outlets in the house. Then there's an even older panel that has the knobs with wires around them. That's disconnected though, so we don't have to worry about that ever being an issue. Again, you don't go down in the basement. The only reason I can see that we would ever have to go down the basement any other way is if, and I can think of this happening at one time. It happened the summer before Phil and I got married. It actually flooded here in Du Bois. That would have been the summer of 2013. It actually flooded here, and there was a lot of places in this particular area. That's why there's a sub pump down there, and it does work. I don't know that it works very well, but it does? Okay, Phil and I tried it to make sure. We flooded the sub pump. We tested it to see if it would work. It does work. So if for any reason we get water in that basement, and you can see where there has been water damage before, we have the sub pump that we can pump and get the water out of that area. So unless it's to flip the breaker or to operate the sub pump, I don't think we need to be going down in the basement. We keep it locked more often than not. It's nothing to, go crazy over. It's an old house with lots of little rooms and quirks, but it gives us the space that we need. The kids get their own bedrooms. Phil gets his own office, which he is crazy happy about. We have a porch to come out, so every morning we come out and enjoy coffee on our porch. We have a porch swing, and it's nice. As much as I didn't mind living with parents, it is nice to have your own place. There is something to be said for that. So be sure to drop comments in the comment section below. Hit the like button, make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell so you know when we get our next videos uploaded. And we will see you guys later.